Okay, so the final part that we have here is creating the knobs. And to create the knobs, we have some fairly simple techniques to do those. I'm just going to go to the selection out of the toolbar, and I'm going to click on the oval selection. I'm going to zoom in. All right, I'm still on the layer 4, which is the cabinet. And I'm going to click, making sure that I'm clicking shift while creating the circle. Now, if you keep holding shift several times, this is going to constrain it to a circle shape, something like this. And once you create that, we can use a very simple technique. I can actually click on the float fill tool, and the float fill tool is going to have a solid fill and a linear fill and the radial fill. The radial fill is the most important for us right now. Now, you can see that because I have the Copic marker library, this makes my life easier, because if I clicked here on this, for example, this is a gold color, and this is very close to what I want for those areas here. Now, the question is, how many of those do I need? I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to need a couple of 2 here. So it is best definitely to create this on a separate layer, and then we're going to duplicate it. So instead of making one for each one of those drawers, we're going to make one actually, and then we're going to copy the others. So to do that, once I create this on top of, I'm still on layer 4, which is the cabinet layer. I'm just going to click here, and I'm going to create an add layer. So basically, I'm going to create a specific layer for the knob. So this is going to make it easier for me to copy it to the other locations. All right. Now, how to do this? I'm going to go to the float fill, and from the float fill, I want to pick a color that is somehow, close to the lioned gold. Now, this lioned gold is, if you can just take a look at my color editor here, you're going to see that where the location is on the bigger circle and where the other location is. You need those 2 locations, because here you're telling the exact where the exact hue is, and here you're basically resembling which part of that spectrum the color is residing in. So try as much as possible. You can see where my circle is if you don't have the Copic library available, and you can see where that circle is and where that location is. So you can be close enough. It doesn't matter as long as you are in that kind of brownish area. All right. Now, from the float fill, I'm going to pick the radial fill. Okay, it's the closest to how the knob I want it to look. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag. And once I click and drag, you can see that you have 3 options here. You have a middle color that you can actually move. All of those can be movable, by the way, and can be reversed. So let's say, because I want the light to be coming from here, and I have 3 colors, all I have to do is just reverse that, and I can click here on this icon. Once I click on this icon, I can see that I reverse the colors. The darkest is here, the lightest, and the white, which is the lightest of all. So I'm just going to bring those in more by moving those like this. And they can also move that and move that more to the side. Now we need to really zoom in, because those are very small distances to be able for this to be reflected the way that we want it. Now I can see here that the white is okay, all right, but the fact is I might need to bring this a little bit up, and then I need this to be a little bit darker than what it is. So I'm just going to click here, and once you click here, this means that you can change that swatch. And from the color editor, I'm going to click and drag all the way to the side. And as you can see, when I do that, this makes this, if I want this to be bigger than it is, all I have to do is just bring it a little bit upward. All right. So I'm just going to keep doing this till I get to the result that I want. Now, at any given point of time, you can discard that. All right. Discard the darkest shadow and play with this only. All right. Something like this. Okay, and this is the result that we get. I'm going to click here, and then I have something. Now, this is not really ideal because I still have to add a little bit of color and a little bit of hue, and I also need to add the darkest shadow. So this is what I will do. I'm just going to click here and move this a little bit to the side, something like that. I'm going to drag this and put it here, so I have the darkest shadow, and I'm going to close the float fill. And I'm going to use one of my tools here, which is the airbrush. Okay, so once I have the airbrush, I just want to show you the airbrush properties. And I'm going to click on the darkest shadow. Now, immediately, if I have the darkest shadow that I picked from here, I'm just going to make the size smaller. The flow, I'm going to move it to about 44% and start doing this. Okay, so give the knob a little bit of darkness, as you can see. Now, if I want to kind of complement this more, I can definitely move this all the way up to white, and I can increase the whiteness if I want to. All right, so this is the knob, and I definitely can click here again on that color, which is the original color, and add a little bit of that hue here, and then go back again to the dark color, increase the flow, and make the size as small as possible, and then hit this again on the side. Okay, so we have the knob here, as you can see, and click Control deselect to deselect the knob. Now, one of the things that I can do is that since I have that as a layer, a separate layer, all I have to do is to click here and then duplicate the layer. And once I duplicate the layer, I can see another layer here, and I can move it downward where it's going to be located. So to do that, all I have to do is to go to Quick Transform. From Quick Transform, I have this circle that is going to be accompanying me, and then I'm going to click and drag this all the way down to where that other knob is located. All right. And then if I want to create another one, I'm going to click here and then add or duplicate this layer. And I'm going to click on it with Quick Transform. Make sure that when you click on the Quick Transform, here it is going to, you select moves, and then you're clicking on the outside blue circle, and then you're going to move this all the way down here to its proper location. Okay. And I might need to go back and adjust this a little bit, the one here. So make sure that you know which layer you are on. And this is how each one of them is going to look like. All right, now the only thing that is lacking is the reflection, the shadow that the knob is going to actually be creating on the drawer. All right, so to do this, I need to go back here to the darkest color that I have for the drawer color, which was this one, if you remember, and I need to create a little bit of aura around that side of the drawer knob. And we can do this using the airbrush, but we have to be very careful not to go over or overlap the knob itself. I'm going to show you exactly how this looks like after I'm finished. Okay, so this is how I added all the sides shadows to the knobs, because definitely knobs are having, or they are protruding a little bit outside, so they definitely have a shadow casted on the drawers or on the cabinet doors. So the next is trying to combine all those together. So how to combine all of those knobs together? Well, we can click here, and when I click on any of those, I just have to click on the upper one, whatever the upper one is. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to click on merge with below. Okay, so, and I'm going to keep doing this. So all of the knobs are actually on the same layer. So I'm just going to click, keep doing this. And if you want to, put them with the cabinet layer, feel free to do those. So if you're not going to be using them again. Now, the other thing I want to do after combining them, I can actually go and click on the pencil tool. And while the pencil tool is selected, I'm going to click on the color white. So I'm just drag this all the way to the color white. And I want to start doing something that's going to add a little bit of a, let's say, a highlight touch. And I'm just using those brush properties here with a hardness of 1.5 and opacity 1%. 100%, and I'm gonna click here using my pencil or using my my digital pen or my mouse, and I'm just gonna do something looking like this. So somehow this looks like a real reflection on the knobs, and you can see that they kind of basically give them a little bit of a realistic touch in a way, because they must have some, if it's metal, it definitely does have a little bit of a reflection or sparkle or something like this. Okay, so this is how it's looking like, and hopefully yours is maybe it's looking better than this, but this is just finishing the rendering for the cabinet.